Let her rip, my friends. Welcome to the two of you. Mike, Amy, you and I talked in the call that preceded this about the force that the Chinese government, when it is declared that they are going after an industry that is unparalleled. And we discussed that some in the room may or may not know, but a decade, 2 decades ago, it was things like buttons. It was the button industry, and then there was a dominance on the button industry. All right, well now we're moving into not buttons, but cars. So give us the perspective, your perspective on Beijing's view of global automotive leadership. And we obviously see it around the world, but.
They declared it a decade ago in their Made in China 2025 industrial strategy, and they named the top 10 industries that they wanted to be global leaders in. And the automotive market was one of them, EV specifically.
Right.
And so they called it, and they did it. And that's what I keep complaining about is where is our strategy? What's our industrial strategy? Now, industrial strategy has had a negative connotation in free markets in the Western world up until probably last year. I had a debate with somebody, our representative in the WTO. I was on a roundtable. I said, we need a strategy. Like, you can't keep complaining that you don't, the aluminum and steel and subsidies. What are we going to be good at? So we need to emulate that as a nation. But China, as Michael has indicated, they're way out ahead of us. Now, it's going to be hard not to play with China going in the future, but I do still caution us. Like, the geopolitical dynamics are not settled. China is a good partner, but Melanie Joly says they're predictable. Not really. I mean, because they have the power, okay? And America has power. And we are dancing this delicate, I mean, this is a very, this is like the tango and salsa and all of them all mixed up, right? Like, it's a very intricate dance. So the opportunity for us is to do as China did with the West. I mean, they are not geniuses on their own. They take the best of the best, they learn, and they put together their success plan. If you remember, Elon Musk was invited to China back in 2017, 2019, okay? And that was when China and the US were at.
I think you're cutting out. Yeah.
Cutting out. China's cutting me off. They don't want me to keep talking.
Just in time.
Yeah. Right. So the U.S. and China were at odds, and Elon Musk was invited. And I think even President Xi welcomed him. Like, what? This is really weird. No, it was very strategic. Elon thought he was special. He thought he was infallible, right? Like, he thought his Tesla was the be-all, end-all. He was going to manufacture there. They learned from Tesla, right? They take bits and pieces. They go to market. They have like this whole. They started in emerging markets because the criteria were lower, less regulation. The need was higher for less expensive automobiles, and then they work their way up. They practice, they grow. And this is a replicable model, like you said, with the buttons. I come from a tech background. Remember 5G 5 years ago when everybody was worried about 5G coming to market? And this is my caution. This has happened before. The government said, oh yeah, Huawei has excellent networking equipment. Telcos, sure, you can go buy it because it's high quality, low price. We want you to succeed. Go build your communications networks on Huawei equipment. And it's like, okay, and they did. And then something happened, right? Then the geopolitical clash. China's not our friend anymore. Then America lobbied, and this is where I'm getting at with the automotive. America lobbied the world. Many Western countries have said, you better take those that Huawei equipment out of your networks because, first of all, it's a national security issue. They're going to spy, blah, blah, blah. And secondly, we're not going to do business with you if you have Huawei in your communications networks. So you decide, you choose. UK took it out, Germany, and then eventually Canada. Okay, so it was calm, it was okay, and then all of a sudden it wasn't okay. I'm not saying this is necessarily going to happen in the automotive industry, but we need to be cautious.
We'll solve that China problem right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm surprised it's not wired. It's like, we need to tether it. Anyway, so my point is, yes, they have a hold on the market. It's going to be hard, right? Your buttons are there, and they're probably from China. Automotive industry will be dominated by China going forward as well. However, if anyone is going to pivot, it's time to pivot now to learn, whether it's business models or if Canada really is going to get serious about manufacturing their own EV, maybe use this friendly time to learn and I call it co-opetition.
Well, and many in the room are signed up to learn. I think we have 70 folks signed up with the CADA to do a China tour. Amy, you're addressing dealers in the room, and you mentioned it earlier in this conversation. Lessons learned. What can be learned in this experience of what we're talking about right now, what everybody's living, and all the questions that everyone has swirling around these topics? What's your message based on your history with China, your history with strategy, and a global context?
They are very shrewd. They are excellent business people. Of course, talk to them, learn, explore, but keep a few things in mind. A deal is not a deal is not a deal, okay? So,
Sounds like we're south of the border now.
yeah, exactly. So just because you go and you shake their hand, they said yes, yes, and then you agree to terms, know that those terms might change. Now, this is not a diss to the Chinese. It's part of their culture. I know even on a political level, they said it matter-of-factly. It's like, yeah, things change, environment changes, and so do conditions. So just know that. If you go and negotiate exclusivity, that might not always be the case, et cetera. So just know that, that might not be the case. They're also really great business people. They may smile, and you might think I'm showing up with my friendly face, and I'm really nice, and then you expect other people to... No, it's a sharp game. They're also suffering at home on the domestic market. As I think Michael alluded, they've got some surplus. They've got a lot of surplus, and they got to move it. They got to move it fast. I would explore if the government's going to insist that they go through dealers versus direct. What are the intentions of, what are the main interests of our government? I know the climate is very important to Prime Minister Carney. Is that going to preempt his care about your margins, for example, right? Does he care more about consumers having affordable cars or about helping you build your business? That's another aspect. Also, servicing and support and the OTA. How are you going to do that? I mean, I took my car in just last week, and it wasn't a Chinese car, and my dealer had to call the US to make sure, because the car got shipped in from the US, and it wasn't that easy or seamless. So how are your software updates going to happen? What are the regulations around that? But here's another opportunity, okay? So with the EV market, I was talking to my girlfriend who loves her hybrid. She's got a Range Rover. She's been out of her car for 4 weeks. I said, how are you? She's got a loaner. She doesn't love the loaner because it's not her vehicle. And I said, 4 weeks? Wow, you're patient. She goes, well, they don't have enough engineers. So there's, we're talking about AI and the technology. There's an opportunity to ramp up the employment, right? The jobs, the engineering capacity for you to support these vehicles here. So as you're going over and negotiating and discussing, maybe make that part of the deal, like knowledge transfer, talent transfer. And while you're at it, maybe ask Prime Minister Carney if he's gonna give you some subsidies to train or retrain people, right? So there's opportunities for you to remodel your business models, right? Like how are you going to show up and entrench yourself, take advantage of funds and opportunities and job creation initiatives. So it's not necessarily one line, multiple lines. I'll stop.